fucking raise already.
Just give them a bit of raise already. Oh, there's actually 3 people watching. Before I started the stream, it didn't say there was anyone. Interesting. Cool. Hello, everyone. All 3 of you. Hope you're all doing well.
There's just one little talker.
I know, right? Alright, so we're gonna try to figure out some hair shading, I think. That's what this guy is missing most. So, currently, obviously, we've got a couple issues. I'm gonna have to put some green behind him at some point, I think. That will help image-wise. But obviously, the most kind of glaring issues with this at the moment, we've got some modeling stuff which I could work on. Mainly adding these gaps in the lips. We could pull the cheekbones back and pull the jaw in, which are things I all need to do. Hair shading wise, obviously needs to be a lot brighter. I need to figure out how to get the contrast in there. I'm just going to close my windows. But yeah, so we'll work mostly on that, I think, today. We do have some lighting changes we'll probably need to make at some point as well. The lighting is a bit more top down on this guy, like on the reference, as in like, you know, the top of the eye is more shadowed than ours is at the moment. So that will help a little bit. I think mine's just a bit too ambiently lit at the moment. Yeah, so let's get started on the hair shader. I'm just going to drag this over to the other screen. So I'm going to need to go back into Mari to start with. So we also need to figure out why the colours aren't working the way we expect them to. So let's just go into Mari for now. Right, there we go. To our hair colour scene now. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why it's so much darker. Because this is with the gamma boosted on the export of the textures. So it's super dark. I think this colour is pretty decent to the darker areas on the reference. I think it's not far off like this region here. But I need to figure out how to get a lot more brightness on there. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So let's get back into Mari. So this is our texture at the moment. I think to go substantially brighter, what I'm going to try for now, I'm going to try to get the colours right first. So let's go, is this the bright? Let that go through, yeah, that's the bright one. So let's make this like way brighter. Let's go really extreme with it actually. And then I'm going to go back into the paint. Personal. So I think one of the things that we're going to need to get as well is the level of contrast, not in the actual tones, but also in the distribution of the colours. Currently, obviously my gun is quite samey because it's not got enough contrast in the actual colours themselves, but also these regions like don't blur with each other at all. It's just like really sharp changes in value. So I'm almost debating doing like a really heavily graded cloud instead. Let's see if that would work. Cloud. And then let's get the reference all the way up. Oh, wrong way around. Then we're going to need to grade that, I think. Let's do it levels. But in that case, we're going to want to reduce the roughness down. Let's do 0.5. So for that, we'll do. So, levels. Something super contrasty like that might work quite well. Let's try changing the offset, get a different pattern. So for those who don't know, the offset controls on different clouds are basically just like, if you imagine the cloud noise is like a 3D, like an actual cloud, offset is just moving that up and down, so wherever it intersects with the head is the color it gets. So as I move this up, you'll see like clouds kind of move through. It's super sensitive, so I can't really do it slow enough for you to see. But it's basically just moving a cloud through the head, and then you get whatever colour intersects with the skin. So I think that will work for this. And then let's go into you. We've already got a cloud in that. So let's change the way I've sent him. Let's just see if something like that works. I've got a feeling it won't, but we can always give it a try. So, Vertical A, export flattened, export current channel flattened. Vertical A PNG. Cool, that'll be that done. And let's just go into the texture manager and open the file itself as well. So we can just delete this Vertical A text, and we can kind of remake it with this texture manager. So textures hair. Cool. So let's try that out. Render man. It's going to save the scene. And let's change the camera while I'm at it. While this goes, I'm going to look for some gear reference. Hey Ian, hope you're doing well. Just trying to find like a nice, let's drag that back over there. Try and find like a nice reference for like how the colour variation in monkey hair works. Let's see what we can find. We may have accidentally got one of the speculars. And it's kind of fading back in now with more samples. I may be forced to put the gain higher than 1. Hey Lemon.
He's my favorite cousin.
We're getting the contrast in there though, you can see streaks, but they're just, the difference between them isn't that much. But I can't go darker because I'm already pretty bright in here. Value has already reached 1 in some few of those. If I turn off the gamma correct, I don't think we can get away with that. Maybe we can. Let's try leaving that off and change the colours. We are getting something more interesting though. Slowly but surely. It'd be good to learn how to do root to tip colour in Renderman. I think having like dark tips, like what we see in some of the monkey riff. If I look at this guy, it's like dark tips to some of the hairs in regions, it seems. Unless it's just a strip of darker hair, but I doubt that. So that could be really interesting to get. I have a few little white hairs here or there. That could also be quite interesting. It's nowhere near this though, is the problem. Let's drag that back over onto the other screen. So let's try going even more obvious on the Mari. Right, so color value has to go even brighter, and to make it feel brighter still we have to decrease the saturation. And then the color for this guy can go brighter as well. I think this has, surely there should be enough variation. I feel like I should hue shift some of these as well so they're not all the exact same hue. But this feels like such a wrong texture to get the look that we want. Like there's definitely a color management thing going on here. Let's give that a go. Delete you. Go to Maya, Enderman, Tools, Texture Manager, Pick Image. Is it going to convert it or no? Ah, is it there as well? Okay. Now I've got 2 of them in there. Perfect. So let's give that another go. IPR. Yeah, the texture looks like camouflage, you're right. It's just, I'm wondering how far I need to push this colour variation to get what we see in the concept. Because obviously the concept is very painterly, but ultimately if it's what I want to match, then it's going to take a while. But just getting this wild variation is going to be really difficult. And then that variation is much reduced here, so I'm going to need to do some like maps on top of the camouflage to kind of fade it in different areas. I also feel like maybe my noises aren't small enough. Let's check Mari. Yeah, they probably need to be a little bit smaller. While it renders, let's... Something like that might be a bit better. Let's just check out it renders first. But yeah, I am worried that it's so not representative of what we're putting in. It has to be something with a marsh and a hair shader. I mean, we're getting more contrast now. It's kind of interesting. Let's try with a different size. This just looks so incorrect. Like, alright. Let's export flattened. Cool. Then let's go into the texture manager again. Apparently I don't need to reconvert it every time, so let's just do that. Cool. Let's give that a go. Yeah, if this isn't bright enough, then I'm not going to pin it down to texture. I'm going to assume it's the shader itself. So I'm just going to break the shader to make it do what I want. Which isn't really how it should work, especially in production environments where you need separate, different lighting setups, but I'm not going to be rendering this guy with different lighting setups, so you can probably get away with it. That's a little bit intense. Did it not pick up the changes properly from the last version? That looks like just without the gamma correction.
Looks like Sonic.
Yeah. This is why I hate hair shading. So why is this entire region darker? I got a feeling it didn't cache this guy out properly. So let's go back into Mari. So I'm going to gamma correct. Export that. Export flattened. Renderman. Tools. Texture manager. LinkedIn is recommending me jobs from Bluesy.
What one?
3D rigger, which I've never, well, I've never done professionally, and lead environment modeler. It's like, I mean, I do environment modeling, but a weird recommendation for LinkedIn to give me. I noticed that the not NPC, the NHS clapping today was a lot shorter. I think people are just realising that, like, clapping isn't doing anything. We just need to actually, you know, give them pay rises and shit. So now it's got all this contrast, but we've still got that black region. But where's it coming from? Why do we have this black section here? It makes no sense. let's get a full image for context. See if it's doing it anywhere else as well. It could be lighting, to be honest. I'm wondering if my Pt.18 is just really low resolution for these. I'm expecting this to crash like 100%, but let's see if this makes a difference. Oh, I also need to, before I start doing too much heavy rendering, I need to restrict it. So, got this guy. Save him. Let's go. Let's just test him for neck. So in here we have base U, which looks like that, and that's what I expect. Cool. So let's try upping this to 2. And save that. Facial error. Yeah, okay, so I can't save it at higher resolution than 1. Which would be really good to get to the bottom of it. It's too late to switch renderer. I've done way too much work on the eyes and skin to switch to a different renderer right now, which is really frustrating. I'm definitely reaching that like force yourself through a project stage. Like 100% at that point now. So set affinity, let's go through these. So I guess if we can't change the texture resolution, we're kind of forced then to just move on to model changes and see what I can do with the hair color. So let's show the head. Well, actually, let's get it up. See what changes we need to make. So to me, it could be somewhat camera angle for the chin, but we need to pull in the lower part of the cheekbone here. We also need to make his skin feel less dirty. So I do need to go in, kind of continue working on texture a little bit. But yeah, so model changes wise, we need to add a bit of a hole in the top lip there to get this. Same with the top lip on this side, just get a bit of a gap there. Pull in the cheekbone a little bit, and pull in this section of the jaw. So let's, I'm going to do them with the groom still in the scene. I ideally would do that, but I'm just going to do it, and then if I break everything, then so be it. Before I do that though, I'm going to export the collection. Export collections. Save that now. Cool, just so we got a backup of that we can come back to. So let's turn off update automatically. Go into the modeling toolkit, turn on symmetry, topology around that edge. Cool. So let's try to render again. So this section of cheekbone around there, which I think is that vertex right there. So let's just pull that. It's pulling the guides with it, so it's a bit slow. Let's hide XGen for a bit. Like around here. Cool. And then we got around here. Let's move back a little bit and increase the size of the fall off. Cool, and then we just need to add a hole in the lips. Let's just see how all this works. So, a bit here, a bit there. Go bigger. Let's just grab this guy. Let's just see how that works. Groom might be a bit broken now. We'll find out. Let's try that from the correct camera. Let's re-add that. Ah, cool, it's turned off anyway. I'll save that just in case. And then let's just turn off these renders. Did I accidentally leave the groom hidden? Or is it completely broken? Head. Give that a go. Oh wait, I need to set it to render with RenderMan. Cool. Let's give that a go. So apparently modifying a model completely breaks XGen. It just stops it from rendering. Let me try reopening the scene. Oh, it's failed to open file called .abc. Okay, so we just need to export patches from batch render. Try that again. So apparently that's still not good enough. Still failing to find it. Let's try closing it and reopening. Did it save an action scene? It's there. Although it didn't create the Didn't create the alembic still. Didn't create this guy. Cool. So do you generate? Actually, it still generates. Do you have any suggestions when shading specular on eyes? It's hard for me to reach a sweet spot between too dull and too shiny. Do you mean on the outside of the eyes or the inside of the eyes? I just tend to set a roughness around 0.05 or 0.1. It's like my go-to. Right, so that's still not working. So if we export patches for batch render, does anything happen? Failed during execution of mel script. Cannot find procedure ABC export. What?
Have you broken that one?
Let's try that again. File, export, patches for batch render. There it is. I wonder what caused that. That might have been it though, hopefully. But yeah, in terms of finding the sweet spot though, so as I said, like, I just gave you general values. I don't really have a trick to finding the sweet spot. It's more just a case of checking your lighting, to be honest. A lot of the, and this goes without saying really, it's the same with any highlights, but a lot of the way the eyes look depends entirely on lighting. Like if you have weird lighting, you're never going to get nice looking highlights or caustics. So just make sure that your lighting environment is pretty nice, and then you should have a pretty easy time with reflections. This render's taking a lot longer to start, so that's a good sign. A lot longer to start. Oh, there we go. I think the change we made is a bit too subtle, but we'll see when it cleans up. Let's just region render it for now. Oh, actually, might be alright actually. That cheekbone change makes the eyes look bigger, which is what we needed, because the eyes are actually a pretty close match in terms of size. The lip change may have been a bit too round, a bit too subtle. Hair's a lot brighter now.
I like the little specks in here.
What's that?
Like the little blue specks.
Yeah. I really want to like model a twig or something, just hide it in the hair. I think the change I made to the chin is a bit too far forward. Like I need to raise it up further back. So let's do that. Let's hide the groom. Drag you away. Probably that bit. Just do that. save. Looks like it should be better. Let's drag out this double chin a little bit as well. So export patches for batch render. That's there. Panels, render cam. Try that again. Oh, broken again. Why this time? Objects had displacement. See statistics for details. I don't know about see statistics. Oh, no, this time it's because I didn't have that visible. That was dumb. That was really dumb. There's me worrying that I've broken the groom again by moving the mesh. While we do this, let's look for a monkey. What's the word I'm looking for? Trying to look for things I could potentially put in his fur. This sort of stuff. I don't know what that is, but it could be quite cool to get that sort of stuff in there. Still going. There we go, that's much better. So if I reorder these, that's a lot better to me. Can I hide this? I'm going to leave this going for a couple of minutes. While that goes, I'm going to do some graph searching. So, debris in the monkey macro. That's such a cool image. I've never consciously thought about the fact that spiders have pupils. It's really... of course they do, but it's super... Why has that never occurred to me? I'm trying to find something that has like debris in its fur. Like, you know, even one of these. I've done debris and fur like professionally, and it always adds something that you just can't put your finger on. It just looks better. Nothing in this guy. He's well groomed. He's got stuff around his mouth, but I'm not really interested in doing that. Some stuff there, but not much. Drag that back over. How's the render going? It's starting to look more interesting. I think even though I don't particularly like the hair texture, it's definitely working better than it was 40 minutes ago. So that's progress at least. Oh, it's not even that render, that's the wrong render. What do you guys think I should do? There's currently 4 of you watching. What do you guys think I should do in terms of like adding to this? I need to do a fur colour for the body. Get some variation in there. But other than that, I'm kind of getting to that point where I've not burnt out yet. I'm not quite at the burnout stage, but I'm getting close. Oh, did RenderMan crash? Alright, I don't want the full stock trace. RenderMan, pause it. Great, I lost it. So let's IPL that again. I've never killed it before. It's a completely new experience. Let me see if I can find leaves in fur. How does this guy have nothing in his fur? I hate when people do this. This is obviously a bit intense. But like this sort of stuff here looks really cool. Just wondering how big to do them. I just need to cover up this little patch here. For now, let's do fur color B, which is this guy. Turn that off. Channel, 2K, default, yeah, all good. And rename him fur color to be. I don't like the fact that Mari starts with a paint node in the base. I feel like it'd be better to start with a colour. Right, so we actually need the colour white in here, so now it's just a case of adding variation on top of that. So let's get a merge, pipe this in. Colour wise, shall we go with, I think like a beige, like an off colour. We'll put it in like sweaty areas. I'm going to add like little, not black spots, but like little brown spots. I think that could be quite cool. Add a bit of interest to the body. I'm not going to do anything too obvious. Let's well, that would be good. And let's go in with a paint node for this. Point. Paint node. That's good. Mask. And then let's just paint with symmetry. And then let's go to perspective. I don't really like orthographic that much. And let's turn on project through just so we don't get too many issues. In fact, actually, let's not turn on project through, and let's instead turn on the auto masking. Just got to remember where it is. It's not in projectors, I don't think. Painting. There we go, auto masking. Mask preview. Oh, it's already on, perfect. So I'll obviously be fading this out afterwards, but let's just get a bit of variation in there. I just want to get some kind of rubbiness in his fur. It doesn't have to be too obvious, it just needs something. He'd have some, let's think about this, he'd have some around his shoulders, I think. Where do you think would be most likely for his fur to be tinted? Like armpits, obviously, that's one.
Booty hole.
We don't reach his booty hole. He has no booty.
His booty hole.
Booty hole.
What do you mean tinted?
What's that?
What do you mean tinted?
Well, a lot of monkeys have like color variation over the course of their fur. So if I search monkey macro, which is actually a really satisfying thing to say. Macro. I was about to search macro monkey. Monkey macro. There we go. Got that eventually. Where was he? This guy, for example, like they have like, you know, just below their neck is a little bit more.
Oh.
I don't want to go quite as extreme because he does need white fur to match concept, but I do want to go kind of down that road.
Have you spoken to Mikey yet? No.
No, I need to see him this weekend. I've been quite busy. I only finished freelance this morning, so. Cool. So let's turn off. Let's go into painting. I don't like the projection masking, or the mirror masking. Let's just turn that off. So we can paint across the middle line and not have to worry about it. Let's set this to be flat shaded as well. And let's add dark spots now. Question is, do we do this much? So I'm gonna add little like dark spots, just one or two, like basically freckles with fur. Do you think it should be symmetrical, like pattern type thing, or do you think random, as if like birth defect?
I don't know.
Because they're not in the concept, but I want to add something. For now, let's just get a merge in there. Color. set this to be, let's go for a really dark brown. Cool. And then let's create a cloud mask. Cool. And multiply. Multiply by another cloud. Not what I want. That's interesting. So let's put levels in this guy. Could create another one of these. Multiply by 2 different clouds. There's probably a better way to do this, but multiply. Copy this guy. But then change his position. And we get little patches. Little random dark spots. I have no idea how well these will come through, if they come through at all, to be honest. But I think that will work for now. So let's export this guy flattened. Export flattened, export current channel. Vertical. I just need to call this. Same as native. Small. Turn that off. Cool. Then go into the texture manager. Pick image. And textures, hair, fur B. Get you in there. Cool. So, let me set the shader before we do anything. This goes to the hair. So this is our Pixar manifold. We're going to use the same manifold because we don't need to do anything else. Let's create a Pixar texture. And let's just rename these to fur call A. So that's to them. Select this guy. Fur call B. Cool, and then where is hair white? That's where it needs to go into. And we need diffuse color. So RGB into diffuse. RGB into specular color TRT and specular color TT. And let's give that a go. Just to get some variation. I've got a feeling it'll be too strong, but it might look interesting. Ugh. There we go. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. The resolution of the Pt.18 is crashing if I make it any higher than 1, but the resolution is literally enough to pick up this huge blob. So that means I'm never going to be able to get the shader to match the concept. Like, I literally can't, because it crashes if I try to. That's so frustrating.
What's wrong?
It won't save Pt.18 files high enough resolution for me to actually get my textures at 1K. Like they're effectively like 256 resolution, and then filtered so it's blurry. It's really frustrating. Let's get a progression image. Load that in there. Yeah, so that makes it literally impossible for us to match. So we're just going to get as close as we can. Granted, colours are still way off. There's a lot we can be doing. It's very frustrating that we can't save Pt.18 above a quality of 1. Blobs are so large. What can I do about that?
Blobs?
These blobs of colour. In Mari, it's like tiny sections that would almost pick up a clump individually, but because of the resolution I'm stuck to, it's literally blobs at a time.
That's weird.
Yeah. Leave that rendering for a second. I'm gonna Google the problem. Next gen Pt.18 crash. It's not overly helpful. Alright, let's cover that section of the ear. And then I'm going to start putting leaves in the background or something. Hey Revel. Alright, so I just need to cover this section. So let's start with for earphone clumps. The easiest fix is just to hide it. So for now, let's just increase the length of these guys. And maybe rotate them out a little bit. So I'll go a bit better, but we also need to increase the density. Do we have it on this side? The gap is there on this side as well, so maybe I just need to just cover it. Like, my map missing? My map is missing. Alright, perfect. Let's go to the hypershade. So here's a 1 density. Let's see if we can find an old copy of the texture. Let's go to groom 45. Here's a 1 density. There we go. Let's save this guy as well. There we go. So, I think this value is around 0.2. Let's pick that value. Oh, just shy. Although that could be a rounding error, to be honest. So 0.2. So I never paint like values like that, unless it's just a blur between 2 different sections, which I accidentally just did, so it probably is. Let's just add some fur down to here. I'm going to add some guides in this area just to kind of help along. Cool, save that texture. And save this guy. File exists. Yeah, that's. You can't write ptext file. Why can't you write a ptext file? Alright, let's go in. So, Xgen. Can't write ptext file. Personal projects, Rowan. Xgen collections. Collections. Fur is 01. Paint maps. I'm just going to temporarily move this out. Put it in here. File is open in another program. Ugh. Okay, so let's save the texture then. Just let me delete it. That's all I ask. Let me just check something. Source images. So I'm going to quickly grab the textures from my groom scene. Copy. And bring those into here. Paste. Skip any files that exist. Save the scene. I'm gonna close Maya. Back into XGen, collections. Grab this guy, yep, him. Cut. Paste him in there. He's not opening another program though.
Close it open your scene.
I've closed Maya.
Why in your margin?
Mari's not using it. Mari has no reason to use it. Can I just delete it? So that might have been a mistake, but let's find out. Worst case scenario, I'll just repaint it. It's no big deal. Although I do have the actual image, it's just a case of not having the folder. Action should be able to create that on its own. Oh, weird thing to have an issue with though. File, open scene, put dev. Let's go into the head. Did I make a boo-boo? Did I save the scene with everything closed? Right, so. Right, so that's got the correct map. Can we save it this time? Looks like it worked this time. Yeah, it worked this time. Super weird. Either way, we got coverage now, so we just need to add some guides in to stop this stuff. Well, we'll see if that stuff works for now. It's going to be kind of weird. So, back to our render cam. So now we won't have that hole. And while that goes, I'm going to check out my source images folder and just quickly check something about the look they've seen, which is, yeah, they don't contain the scene name. That's good. I can just copy paste this whenever I want. This is all the textures that I've made, including the ramp PV. This is how many times we have to do the ramp PV thing. So frustrating. With the still life project, I'm almost debating doing it in full CG rather than comping in it.
girl that I know sent me.
What's that?
The girl that I know, her kid, did like a drawing. These like pictures and just like, what the F is my child on?
Oh, really?
They're really, really simple, but they're very cute. They're maybe about the Storybots, which is like an Amazon series, but
Uh-huh.
they've got ears, so I'm on my own. As I said,
I'm just gonna grab a drink while this renders.
you see,
I would love to see it, yeah. Aww.
really simple, like the drawings, like something.
Love your UVs.
I'm literally far from you, so.
Nice bloke.
No.
7 minutes?
Yes, I'm going in soon.
Oh, okay. The water doesn't get that cold enough, does it?
No, it's I'm considering actually buying us like a brick pick.
Payday is tomorrow. I can get us a water filter to keep in the fridge.
Something, yeah, you know, like where the
Although we'll have to
movies-
make room because there's a lot of.
Well, no, I can move the sauces and stuff into the shelves. It's because our fridge, I'm nearly tempted to actually remove one of the in the shelving, you know, the shelves, because we don't actually use that much fridge space. It's just there's no room for me to put, you know, like sauces.
Uh-huh.
And like so I'd rather have them in the actual stacking bits, but or even if we could get like I think a water filter, or if we could get bottles of water that we could keep in the fridge.
Ow.
What did you just do?
Need a table. I'm taking the fan out from under my desk. This is yours if you want it.
Let's get these chickens going now.
I think the colour variation we've got is interesting now. It's still... I'm still actually not too keen on the final asset.
I wonder is there anyone you could send it to for like pass? You know what I mean?
For what?
Like a last pass of
Feedback?
yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I'm really annoyed about the Pt.18 resolution thing.
So what's wrong with it? Explain.
So when you save a texture in XGen, it doesn't load your texture. It saves its own version of it in Pt.18 data. The problem I've got is that I can only save it at a resolution of 1, which in this case looks like it's roughly the same as a 256 by 256 map, maybe even 128, because this dirt patch here is 3 pixels. Okay. That's 3 pixels.
Right.
So it's very low res, which means that if I add loads of information to my texture maps, it doesn't matter because XGen saves a low resolution version.
Okay.
So it means I can't get the level of contrast that I need to colour each clump uniquely.
Okay.
The only way for me to do that would be to separate the clumps out, so I can put a different colour on them, and that would obviously be way too intense. You technically could, but not worth doing. Image, channels, luminance is H. The face reads as too bright in luminance, and hair reads as too dark. I feel like I almost want to make the hair shading like way more diffuse. Let's close this guy, split you open, go into panels, hypershade, Close that. Go to the hair material, vertical 1. So this is hair blue. Let's save an old version of the scene. Now let's just double check while I've done that, double check if it's actually saving all the files or not. No, it's not saving the textures. Are these not in the scene? Is that the problem? Weird. Well, what I can do is, for now, right. Copy these, put that into here. I don't know why that's not going through. Paste and replace. Cool. So yeah, let's get on with this blue hair. So what can we do? What can we do? My diffuse gain is set to 0, but then I'm pretty sure he's not using specular compensation. So if I turn that up and set this all the way to 1, so technically these are the settings you're supposed to use for non-real. Because I was reading through the Renderman documentation. If you turn diffuse all the way up to 1 with the same color as secondary reflection, but then turn on specular energy compensation, apparently that's the best way to use it when you're not using the melanin or physical hair flow. Obviously in this case it's not physical, because it's not using melanin at all. And I feel like for the white fur, although I do have like a colored texture plugged into it, I kind of want to add a melanin layer to merge them together. I could just do a blend texture, it's not really too difficult to do that. That's the wrong camera. Let's cancel that guy. I don't know how different this will look, to be honest. I don't think it'll look different at all, really. I could always turn specular energy compensation off and just like slowly add diffuse and remove specular, or transmission in this case. Doesn't look like it'll be any different, but let's give it a chance. Seems to get a little bit brighter in the darker regions. It does change a bit actually. Still don't know why I've got this dark section. Let's kill the render. Kind of eager to change the specular as well. Feels like it's not rough enough. So let's add a little bit more cone angle. So secondary cone angle, let's increase that to 12, and then I'm going to increase primary to 16. And that just makes it rougher basically. Cone angle you can imagine as like, as light enters the hair, like imagine this is the hair here. Light enters going in perfectly sideways. If the cone angle is 8, then it's 8 degrees. So if you imagine like the difference between the two like extremes it can come out at, that would be 8 degrees. If I change it to 16, then that cone gets wider, which means it's a rougher reflection or transmission, depending on what we're going for exactly. Maybe I should have changed the transmission as well, but we'll see how that goes. I haven't done enough hair shading to kind of know instinctively how these will look different. I know what they're doing different, but I don't necessarily know exactly how it will change my image. So let's see what the difference between these two is. Looks like it might be super subtle. We've definitely lost this bright highlight, which is, I think, a good thing. Although we're also flattening the... maybe to get that painterly look, we need to go even sharper, actually. Because you see how like the color is more consistent now, whereas like with this version, it's like dark and then slowly gets brighter and then goes white, whereas this one is kind of uniform. So maybe to get the look that we want from the concept, I might need to increase. Oh, this makes it feel drier though, which in its own way is kind of what we need as well. Although it could just be the primary specular making it feel drier. Let's give that a go. Let's decrease the cone angle on these guys. So I'm going to set secondary and transmission to 4, which is really on the low end. Yes, I think it is. put those in order of roughness. So we'll probably find this is a lot of contrast here. I have to let it clean up a bit though. Kind of like the matte one. This guy. That's the default settings. And this one's the super glossy one, which gets a bit more of that painterly feel. But I'm not sure I like that when it's actually on it. I'll let it kind of go a little bit. And also, I'm currently off screen looking for some leaf textures, so I can start putting some stuff in his hair or something along those lines. It's going to be like really small stuff. I just feel like it will add quite a lot. I feel like these clumps, the matted clumps, should keep that high roughness. So I like the flatness of this. That would mean making a separate shader for the rough clumps, but that's fine. It's not really that big of a deal. Everything's already set up anyway. That's something I'll come back to, I think. Okay, let's let this cook for a minute while I search for some leaf textures on the screen. So I'm basically looking for something like this is okay. I'm gonna just throw it into Critter and kind of, well, not this specific one. I need to find something with relatively flat lighting. Leaf overcast. That's kind of cool. Obviously, we'd need to remove the shadows. It's not ideal though, because it's already crinkled and that sort of stuff. This is an oily leaf. I'm not sure I want an oily leaf. With such a leaf. No. This is a big image. Open image in new tab. Okay, I think I'm going to use this image for something. So let's save image as. Let's go into client work, custom projects, some Rowan, textures, debris, leaf. Call this one leaf A, and then leaf A base. I meant to put an underscore. Right, okay, so yeah, I can leave him going, although I need to just double check that I have handicapped it set affinity. I haven't. Cool. I can kill Mari at this point as well. Close that. I just need to archive it. Archive. And then let's go into D drive software. It's not software I want to go into. Projects. Custom projects. And Rowan. textures. I'm just going to save it in here. Sam Rowan. Yeah, that's alright. Cool. So I can close this guy now. So let's get Critter. I remember so I've got a few tricks I like to use when preparing textures. I normally use Photoshop, but obviously at home I don't have it, so I'm gonna have to see if I can do the same things. So, open file. Let's navigate to debris, leaf A. Grab this guy. Cool. So, first thing we need to do, obviously, is duplicate this guy. I don't need to duplicate him at all. Let's just start by erasing everything. In fact, no, let's not erase everything. Let's put a mask on the layer. Where do I do this? Add transparency mask. Cool. So, let's paint black. I'm not going to care too much about the line being perfect. I just want a general end. The reason I'm using a transparency mask rather than just straight up erasing it is if I lose any edges like that, I can recover it. Granted, I almost feel like I should have like little ant bites in there. Granted, no one will ever notice that stuff, but I kind of want to do it anyway. But like this sort of area would be very good to have transparency mask. I feel like I should probably go in with a soft brush as well, but I can do that later. Let's just do a choppy line for now. Doesn't matter too much if this line is perfect. I just need to make sure I've got rid of the shadows, because they would be quite obvious. That. Yeah, like just then I went a bit overzealous, so what I can do now is just paint white. That's not what I want. Cool. Paint white in there and just recover that line a little bit. There we go. I could probably automate this, to be honest, by just extracting the color white, because it is a perfectly white background, but then I'll get the shadows and that sort of stuff. And to be honest, it really doesn't take that long just to go through and do this. Is that actually painting black? It wasn't. It was slightly off black. Cool. Looking for any lines that I've missed. The nice thing in transparent background in Critter is it doesn't move. It moves, or it doesn't move, so you can see where your edges are. So like that sort of stuff would be really hard to see otherwise. So as I move this around, you see how we can suddenly see this guy here. Cool. So we got that. We also got a little bit of an edge down here that you won't be able to see in the stream, I think. Cool. So we got that. So now we need to make a highlight removal layer, and all we need to do for that is create a darken, and then pick the colors. Which I got to remember. Pick the color near it, and just paint over the highlight. That isn't what I want to do. Maybe I picked the wrong color. Let's pick one like that. It's a bit strong, isn't it? Let's go in with a softer brush, maybe even an airbrush. Pick a nice light colour. There we go. Oh, that is not a good colour choice. I don't need to get rid of the highlights perfectly, I just need to get rid of enough of them for it to not be an issue anymore. So it's not as visible. Because if I remove this layer, we're just dulling them down in a way that's not so obvious. It's not the cleanest approach, but it works. That's all you need sometimes. Considering that we'll be seeing this thing at like, not even that, I can't zoom out further for some reason, but like we'll be viewing it further than that, so. Nope. Cool. Not perfect, but it'll do. So we could do the same thing with the shadows, lighten them. I don't know how well this will work. Let's give it a go. Lighten. Just do a quick brush over the dark areas. Just lighten the shadows a little bit. And between the two of those, if we group them, just removing as much lighting information as possible. We'd need to definitely erase this guy. And that's just too strong. We could always lower the opacity on them as well if we want them to be more subtle. So they're removing the peaks of the highlights, but not kind of flattening the image too much. Alright, so we got that. Do we have an alpha channel now? I don't know how to check this. Channels. We do have an alpha channel, perfect. So we can use this as an input. And then I don't need to generate a normal or anything from this, so I'll just generate a bump at render time. Although I'm not sure I can do that, so maybe we'll have to generate one. Let's save that back out. Save as leaf A base, so let's just rename that leaf A. Call. I don't want JPEG. I need TIFF or something. Leaf A. Call. Compression type none. Store alpha channel. Flatten image. Sure. Cool. So if we hide this guy, and that might crash for a little bit. Yep, thought so. Cool. So let's kill that guy, kill that guy, hide these guys. Perspective. I'm just going to create, I'm going to call this leaf mat. Cool. Let's just create a little plane. Is there a sphere still inside that? There is. I'm going to keep the polygons, but let's assign a new material. Let's go into BXDF, pixel surface. Then let's create a PXR texture. Result RGB into diffuse color. We'll leave specular color alone. Presence will get the A channel. We'll connect this to debris leaf A. I'm going to need to convert that into a text actually. Tools, texture manager, pick image, TIFF. Cool. So let's pick that. Not you. And then let's just do a quick test in the render man viewport. I've got the groom hidden, so it shouldn't take too long to generate. And we have a leaf. So let's go into bump normal. I'm going to generate one. So if we do a PXR color to float, no. Okay, PXR bump. Input bump, let's get the green channel, I guess. Result normal, put that in. It's obviously too strong, but we can change that. 1.1, 1.01. Let's reduce that even further, 5. And then we're going to need some double-sided. We're going to need transmit color on that. Let's reduce that transmit color actually. So I should make like a brighter version. Should be using a diffuse color. No, that will do. So I feel like when we get a bright light on that, obviously we need to remove the white edges, but we probably can get away with not doing that, to be honest. And what we can do now is, if we turn off this renderer, assign a blend or something to this so we can see it in viewport. Cool. And then go create a file node, file texture. Connect that to the guy we've made. the JPEG. This is a little bit of perspective on it as well, which makes it a little bit more difficult. What we can do now, if we set this guy as a live surface even, and go into the quad draw, objects, that's not what I want, quad draw, there we go. Let's just get a super basic topo in this guy. We could have the lines follow the actual veins, although I'm not sure it really matters at this scale. Let's just have it be more uniform. We will be subdividing this, don't worry about that stuff. So let's smooth. Cool, go back into quad draw. Let's push and pull this around to get a closer match. Rather than make it sharper like that, I'm just going to bevel that middle edge. Something like that will do. Cool. Make sure this is following the middle. Once you bevel it, that gets harder to change. Update this to match. This needs to be moved further up. Not ideal topo, but it will get the job done. And just grab this guy, bevel, make him super sharp, then quad draw this guy, and just go in and do this. Cool. So let's fix that topo here. That's super weird. The shape isn't very kind to I hate the way it's smooth sometimes. I wish it's smooth based on like not where the borders are, but actually like just trying to even out the topo as much as it can. Now I can do like an edit edge flow, but let's try that instead. Cool. So solo this guy as a leaf. Going to project him from the Y mapping, plane map Z. And then what we can do now is assign that same material. So I think it was Lynn. In fact, we can just assign the leaf material, which we didn't name. I'm assuming it's Pixel Surface 8. It is. Perfect. And now can we see that texture in the... Perfect, we can. Alright. So that looks like it's not mapped correctly, so let's go into mapping, planar map, keep image height, there we go. Did I project from the wrong angle? Mapping, planar map, y-axis. Cool. With that done, we can now just go in, scale the UVs. Alright, snapping. Tools, move, constraint snap, turn that off. It looks like it might be quite hard to line up actually. Yeah, it is. Alright, so next method. Is he selected? Oh, it's reference mesh, that's right. So, save the scene. I think we select him, then him. Let's go to the outliner. You, then you. Mesh. Transfer attributes. Let's transfer the UVs by world space. Now, that's closer. We can always just tuck the UVs a little bit. It doesn't need to be perfect, it's going to be seen at such a far distance. We can just go in and do this. Pull you back a little bit. Same with you. Although, I am going to be using an alpha, so let's actually get that edge in. Get you. Just because the alpha's on there, I should kind of be able to get away with a bit of this. Cool. So, next thing to do is grab this center edge, inflate him a little bit, just get a bit of real roundness to him. Maybe a little bit of soul, we'll find out. And we also need to grab these guys. Align to there, rotate. Do the same with these guys. Align to there we go, we have a leaf. Hacky leaf. So now let's try rendering this dude. Leaf AMAT. Let's change the IOL while we're at it. Oh, we don't actually have reflection, okay. Physical. Pop that to 1. So it's to 1. Let's go 1.4. Slightly higher than water, but the leaves tend to be a little bit waxy, so I think it would be a higher IOR. There we go, we have a leaf. Now we can start placing those in his hair. Which I need to show the hair for. A bit smaller. No need to make other variations and some sticks as well, so it's not all the same type of debris. But that would start to. That's too obvious. It needs to be buried in the fur. It needs to be something that you can see if you look for it, but not something that stands out. And let's add one. And let's go with here. Cool. So let's just see how that looks. Let's go to the render cam. Render man, IPR. That'll be super subtle. Maybe this one's a bit too obvious, but we'll see how it looks. It might stand out even more when we've got the actual shader on there, which is way more saturated blue. I need to make some little twigs. Now would be a really good time to own Megascans, or have some. Like, I know you can get like free Megascan assets, but I don't have an account right now. My Quixel account is like 8 years old now. I used it for Ndu and Ddu back when they were a thing, before Megascans was out. So I need to recover my account. For now, we can kill this. So we've got the output. There he is, little leaf. Yeah, he is too. Get some little sticks and that'll feel great. This one's pointing at him though. I think the scale needs to be very different for them to work. As in, like, maybe his scale is fine, but he needs to be either way bigger or even smaller. If you're wondering how you could push this through a pipeline, by the way, you could probably, once you've simulated the hair, wrap deform these meshes to the closest hair curve, or closest guide curve. That would be probably the easiest way, because then it'll just follow it around. Or you could even rivet it to something. Little leaf standing out there. I think they're a nice little addition. I should go either more obvious or larger on this one. He's in the neck, so he has kind of the right to be massive. And let's have him sticking out like that. That's a bit too big, maybe. Let's give that a go. And once you've got sticks in there, that could be quite cool. I was still so annoyed about the fact that I can't do hair textures properly, just because the fucking Pt.18 won't allow me to do full resolution. I can spend more time to get the color right, but the fact I can't do like clump by clump color to get the variation between the concept, that's just really annoying to me. It kind of gives me a reason to switch to Arnold, because you can just use the UV positions, so you're not limited by resolution of Pt.18. Also requires less setup. This might look absolutely crazy. Let's find out. Not in a good way necessarily. I kind of dig it. It's maybe drawing a bit too much attention to itself. But I kind of dig the idea of having some debris in his fur. I kind of dig that. It's interesting. Need to get some twigs in there. Let's have a look at some twigs. Twigs. Oh, of course, twigs is the name of a singer or something. FK twigs. If we did something tiny like one of these, like really small. She's got a really interesting face. Her lips are like almost as tall as they are wide. She's also a groomer's nightmare. Super interesting. How large is the creature? Their head is so he's scale-wise he's based on a spider monkey, so his head I think is 8 centimeters. So I'm thinking kind of these like, you know, little leaflets. FK twigs is good. I've never heard of it before. That is just a groomer's nightmare through and through, though. I'd probably texture that onto the head, to be honest. I wouldn't even groom that. Just draw it on in ZBrush. She actually looks like she'd be really fun to make a digitable of. Her face is just so, like, unique. I'm looking for twigs. Twigs. Broken. If this happens to be a song by Twigs, I'll be very upset. There we go. Let's check on the render, see how that's doing. Yeah, it's going alright. This sort of debris. This stuff is great. It would just take so long to make some of this stuff. It'd almost be helpful to have speed tree on this sort of stuff. But speed tree is so overpriced for what it is. If I remember the prices correctly, it's stupid. I see no reason for an indie to ever pay the amount that it charges. Is she wearing tracking markers in that image? Can't tell what those are. This image looks polarized. Maybe making a digitable of her would be really good, because I'm pretty sure this is a polarized image. You could just project this to get the textures. And this hair is interesting. She's not got that mad baby hair thing going on. Modeling this stuff would be kind of fun as well. I might consider making this at some point. Could you use Megascans? I could use Megascans. I don't have it right now though. Let's check. So MikeCauchiArt. Let's see what we can get for free. So I don't have an account is the problem. Let's go into 3D plants, I guess. Put cactus in its fur. Accept. Says twig. Sorry, no matches were found. Ooh, free. A bit chunky. These cost 1 point. How much is 1 point? I feel like if I scaled some of these down, like this one, if I scaled it down and maybe duplicated a few of them to kind of stack on top of each other, I could get the look that I want. This is almost ideal, although it's a bit autumny. Kind of like to be green still. I need to find out how much 1 point is. So I've used MikeCauchiArt quite a few times. I've never used it personally with RenderMan. That could be interesting. I'm going to create an account off screen, obviously. Sign in. Need to register. Yeah, I'll sort that out on a different time. Nice. Not very much look at that. Alright, let's leave that for a bit. Right, so I actually kind of dig in this image. Kind of want to make it, but I need to finish the project I'm on first. Let's just model a generic stick shape and see how it looks in the fur first. We can get away with shading it grey for now. So let's create a cylinder. scale it in a bit. What's going on with my camera pivot? Come on. Oh my god, why is this so slow? That'd be cool if you made FK jokes. Yeah, I'm not a likeness sculptor. I think Maya's crashed. Yep. I'm getting so many crashes today. But yeah, I'm really not a likeness guy. It could be fun to really try to tackle it and dig into it, but it would take me a long time, I think. Could be fun though. Maybe do it with a different renderer, just to keep things interesting. So let's go and create a cylinder again. Let's not do that yet. Let's change the. Actually, I have to. Are there other projects you have in mind? Yeah, I'm thinking of remaking one of my old still life projects. I'll get it up on screen in a second. I'm thinking of remaking. This is a render I did like 4 years ago now. In fact, yeah, it's just over 4 years ago I made these renders. I really want to remake it. It's basically just this was V-Ray, so these 4 props, and obviously the salt and table was all CG. The rest of it's backlight. I kind of want to do something like that again, but this time knowing actually how to do look dev, because back then I was very new to look dev. Let's do something like. These guys in. Oh yeah. you go. Twig. Combine these. Thicken this guy up at the bottom a little bit. I feel like I need to change the shape slightly. Oh, that's not what I want. Let's try soft select. Surface. And then let's do that. No. Looks like a tuning fork. Hate it. There we go. Need to get that groom visible now. Next gen for neck. And then let's get the head visible too. So let's move him out a little bit. Save. Sticks would be buried in the fur a little bit more, so a leaf on this guy. Really tiny leaf. It's like the end of a branch. Like really, really tiny. I feel like we should probably remove the lower section of branch for this guy. Oh, why do you not delete? There we go. Where's that matted clump? Let's get matted clumps up. It makes sense for the stick to be kind of caught in a matted clump. Just twist him to follow it a little bit. Have him barely sticking out of it. Let's try that. RenderMan IPR. It's just a case of adding random blobs like mud, but that's super easy to model. You just do a cube, smooth it once, throw a noise on it, and you're done. Definitely adds some interest. I think the amount I've got in there at the moment is right. Maybe I need another stick somewhere. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'll be overdoing it if I start adding more. I don't want them to stand out too much. How's it already 20 past 10? Something I want to do quickly, just to see how it looks. I'm going to save. Oh, let's duplicate that guy. Group him. And then if I duplicate him in there, yeah, cool, he stays in the group. Of course I put them right there. God damn it. Modify, center pivot. Modify, center pivot. Obviously I'll be putting depth of field on this as well. I just want to see how it changes the image. Taking a while to render. So I need to go in and kind of tweak them individually, but quick trick time. Let's do, well, first, let's grab him. Just angle him slightly. But if we grab all of these, I'm going to edit mesh, transform, set randomness to 1, apply. I can just do like make them all bumpy but in a slightly different way. Key here is subtlety. But just like kind of kink some of them, and when you smooth them, it starts to even itself out and it feels a bit more natural. So I need to undo. Although I can probably do that at a later point. For now, let's just do this. Modify center pivot. Modify fluid transformations. Modify center pivot. So, it's IPR. I'm going to turn the depth of field on this time actually to see how big of a difference it makes. I'm already in render cam. I'm doing that for. That's a good shot actually. I might need to linearize the textures for the leaves. Something I've only just realized I haven't done yet. Let's kill this render before it even starts. Have you crashed? This is running. There we go. Let's just get the leaf mat in your eyes. Undercam. Undermount IPR. render's finally starting. Maybe my depth of field is a bit strong. It's good to finally start getting context to him now. Obviously we need a different HDR for the background. God, this project is dying for me so quickly. I'd love some help from the chat. What do you guys think needs to be done? So I'm very quickly running into that kind of dead end where you look at a project and you're just so blind to it. Stream will be ending in 20 minutes, by the way. Really just not sure where to go from here. I feel like I need to take it in to do a paint over. I know that feel. Yeah, it's difficult, man. I'm getting to the point where I'm just looking at this asset and thinking it looks like shit. That's the luminance of him. I think a pose will help quite a lot, but I think the green helps the hair though, weirdly. I put leaves and twigs in
the
the hair.
green helps the hair.
It does. It gives it context. I've added, it's not plugged in. I've added leaves and twigs into the hair.
Cool.
Just get something a little interesting in there. Yeah. You feel like posing it to mimic the concept. Yeah, I feel like that will help at this stage. Because we're definitely not at the point where we need to do everything symmetrically anymore. Like, we can work asymmetrically at this point. Because all the stuff that needs to be symmetrical already is, like the proportions and that sort of stuff. I do have a friend who's currently rigging this, so I might ask him if he could send me the rigged version.
Is it finished?
What's sorry?
Is it finished?
What is what finished?
The rig?
No idea. I haven't heard from him since he started on it, to be honest. But I feel like if I asked him, I could wrap deform, because I've made model changes, but I could just wrap deform it, pose it, and that might help a little bit. Because there's that awkwardness of the arms being T-posed.
Oh yeah.
That's always going to fuck with the image. Like, it's never not going to fuck with the image. Let's check the concept quickly. The entire background is green for this guy, so I might just like quickly fill the background in. So is that nice to have a rigger friend? Yeah, someone needs to go through that. Ain't gonna be me. What's that?
Jeff.
Jeff Capelli. He is your rigger monster.
He's just a friend, and he's really good at everything.
He does seem to be good at everything. Credit where it's due. Let's just cover the whole background in green.
Yeah.
Wow.
So warm again.
Yep.
No.
So many leaves.
Who's on? Ian. And then Francisco.
There's gonna be so many repeating images in this.
I love where did you get the leaves from?
I just modelled them.
Did you?
Yeah.
What the hell?
It's not too difficult. Previs made me very quick. Previs made me very fast at throwing models together. When you work in Previs and they walk up to you, it's like, hey, you got like 10 minutes. Do you want some leaves? It's like, ooh.
Entire environment right now.
There's some weird grouping stuff going on here. Just grab random chunks and move them forward and backwards. I feel like I need a jitter script to kind of put random rotations to some of them. You also need to remove the these guys that are going to be really obvious shadows. Basically remove any defining tileable shapes. Is that my Siri?
Siri, shut up. I'm sorry, I do not know the word. I just...
Siri, why are you a piece of shit?
Why is Trump wrong?
Can you fix the leave with groom? What?
Who asked that question?
Not even sure what that question means.
Explain your answer. Because we are confusion.
If you mean the leaves look bad, yeah, don't worry, I'm well aware of that.
So here's the thing you gotta remember.
I don't care how my work looks sometimes.
Mike is a dick.
Hey.
For fuck's sake, I was like, why is that showing in my viewport?
Right, let's try rendering that.
Oh, perfect.
Leaves. Can you fix it? Yeah, but I know what you mean by leaves, but I don't know what you mean by fix them with groom.
Fix them with room, Mike. Jeez.
I assume he means like use groom to place the leaves, but it fix the modeling of the leaves with groom. I really don't know what you mean by fix the modeling of the leaves with groom. Do you mean placing the leaves with groom? Or do you mean the leaves that are in the groom? As in his hair?
What do you want?
Right, okay. He's trolling. Oh wait, is that Guillaume? Fuck's sake.
What's Guillaume's name? Guillaume?
Yeah.
Hi, nice to meet you. Why is this a dick?
What is it you're working on?
UV editor, it's like it's you know, so the way it oranges things whenever you select it, it's oranging everything, like making everything orange, and then I'm like, it's not selected, is it? And but it is. Oh god, why are you like this, Maya? Feck off. Sometimes. Maybe it could feck off. But
What colour is the background? I need to make it
Licensing.
lighter. You need to get some more random shapes in that background. Technically, they're not blurry enough. Because the background is just vague colours in actual art. I just need to get more colour variation across all the leaves. Maybe we should do a camera projection. I haven't done a camera projection yet in RenderMan. It's a bit too noisy. As in, like, visually the leaves are just kind of... The blobs are too small.
The blobs are too small.
Wait, this looks like a cloud noise with no roughness. Becca?
It does.
Like-
It looks like a purling noise.
Yeah.
Or what do you call it?
Gaussian.
Gaussian noise? My fave noise.
Maybe blow up the exposure a little bit. Yeah, maybe. I do think posing will help a lot. I might message that rigger friend and be like, hey, how's it going?
Sounded whatchamacallit?
Who?
Fuck, I forgot her name. Not Katrina. The girl that was supposed to do like the rigging stuff. That's
Oh,
what we had.
I haven't spoken to her for a while. I've still got some groom stuff I need to fix as well. There's an intersection here. Like this line here isn't the colour coming out, it's actually just the third leaving the shoulders. Right, let's just quickly do something with the leaves in the background that will help. And I need to group them all and name them all and all that jazz. So the reason it looks as flat as it does at the moment is because it's physically, like, from the front it is flat. Whereas obviously trees aren't like that, they build out in layers. So if I have this kind of form like almost a zigzag from the side. In fact, what I could do... Okay, forgive me for what I'm about to do because it's disgusting. Combine these. It's going to take some time. Right, so that's one mesh now. Delete history on it. Cool. Alt save. Cool. Create a plane. Move it over here. Right, why do this one? Can I use a lattice deformer? I was about to use a wrap deformer, but I can just use a lattice. So let's go into deform, lattice, deform. So how fast is this? I'm impressed sometimes by Maya. Like, as much as it is a piece of shit, like, it is relatively good at some stuff from time to time. Scale a random section. That might be enough to get a little bit more. And then if I mesh separate these guys. Every leaf is a slightly different tone of green. Yeah, I don't know how to do that in RenderMan. Alright, it's 10 minutes into the stream, so I'm just going to kick off a render and leave that going until the end, and then I'll pick up the stream on Saturday. Demand IPR. While this renders, I'm going to take a screenshot of it and quickly paint over some stuff. Windows, accessories, snipping tool. Save as. Put my desktop for now, call it capture. Cool. It's super noisy, but it will work for now. I can kill this now. Open critter. I just need to make sure that I limit Maya, because now I'm letting it do a longer render. Yeah, but the problem is if I just set up aces now, I've not worked in aces the whole way through. I can always just do a grade, like some comp work at the end, to mimic the high range look. So I was thinking of doing my next project in Arnold and just setting up the aces from the start. Because with Arnold there's at least a bit more documentation, and there's also Arvid's videos. RenderMan's one of those tools where you're mostly on your own with a lot of stuff. There is stuff out there obviously, but this there isn't as much. So let's open. Cool. So layers. multiply. Get you. Posing it helps a lot. Obviously, this is like the crudest thing. And I'd need to adjust the hair to compensate, so let's just quickly do that. Posing it helps a lot. A deep vignette helps quite a bit. So I think one of the problems at the moment, composition wise, is the face is way brighter than the rest of the hair, which I'm pretty sure it is in the concept as well. It's not as different actually, so I need to brighten up the hair quite a bit. But compositioning with this at the moment, the issue for me is that the face is way brighter than the hair, and then the arm is brighter than the face. So if I vignette that and pull it in, the face is the brightest part of the image again. So it sits a lot more comfortably, if you get what I mean. I hope that makes sense. And if I flatten out the leaves a bit, just to get some less variation in this case. Just doing that helps a lot. How's it render doing? kills the image. Not doing that. I think all that stuff will help quite a bit. Rebecca, what do you think?
I think. Oh yeah, the second one's just a paint over, isn't it, to show you?
Yeah, super quick. Literally just brighten the hair, flatten some sections of leaves, pose, thin out the torso a little bit, but that's part of the pose, like twisting his body a little bit. Vignette as well. Like really heavy vignette, probably over the top vignette to be honest. Let's put that below the vignette. I think the vignette helps a lot for me. It pulls you back in towards the eyes, because the problem I've got at the moment is that the brightest part of the image is the white fur, not the eyes. Maybe I can achieve this stuff though by adding some leaves in the foreground, because this is blurry, so that could look quite interesting. That would make it feel like you've caught an image of it in the jungle, so that could look really cool. I like the idea of doing it actually. I want to do it. Adding leaves in the foreground that are out of focus. Like maybe this could be, rather than posing, just actually just a big leaf.
Maybe, yeah.
Adding the green really helps the blue though. It makes it feel less out of place. It's still too noisy. It really helps a lot. And these fireflies, adding particulates in the air, that could be really cool too. Let me check that in render, or in the paint over. 5th time's a charm. Let's add a layer on top, which is just a super vibrant green, something like that. I think the fireflies would be cool as well. I definitely have to get some Mega Scans leaves if I'm going to do something that close up, because I don't want to spend ages on a leaf. Surprising how big of a difference the posing will make when I do it. It's weird how the render looks way more vibrant, just because it's got more samples. Need to add texture to the twigs that are modelled. So I'm going to continue to leave this rendering. We've kind of gone over the end of the stream now, so I'm going to end the stream here, guys. But yeah, I'll continue. I feel like doing this paint over actually really helped in terms of, like, it's set a goal for me now, so I think on Saturday I should have a bit more of an aim to what I do, which will be good. because I've been slowly burning out on this project, so it'd be good to get that sorted. But yeah, so on Saturday, although I might not be ready to pose him, I might quickly go in and do the fireflies, you know, make the leaves and the background look a bit better, and lighten up the fur a little bit. And then I think it'll be time to see if we can get a pose on him and start doing some presentation renders, like really pretty renders. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. It's been one of the quieter ones. I think we peaked at 7, which is lower than usual, but no big deal.
I think I'm on there in the background.
Thanks. But yeah, so we'll continue the stream on Saturday, guys. I've finished the freelance, so I'll be able to start doing extra streams again soon. But you know, I want kind of a night off tomorrow, just because I've been working every night for like
Friday is
2 weeks now. But yeah, so I'll see you guys on Saturday if you want to come along again. We'll start doing some more detail work on the environment stuff. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. Bye, guys.